45, KNEB, some snow around, with the more pronounced snow coming this evening. 27 degrees this morning. News Extra next, and brought to you by Intralinks. Here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you, Dennis, and good morning, everyone. Scottsbluff County Sheriff Mark Overman and Lieutenant Monica Bartling with the Nebraska State Patrol are our guests today. And I know we're only a few days from Christmas, but we are going to talk about something a little bit serious today, and it's been troubling to me, especially here over the last few months and even over the last year or two, how many cases that I am covering regarding child abuse, child neglect, child sexual assault, and also troubling, I guess, when you look at it on the nationwide scene with what's going on at Penn State and at Syracuse. And so I just thought I'd bring these folks in and let's talk about what I think is a pretty serious problem here in Scottsbluff County. And we'll start off with the sheriff here. Mark, statistics show it is a problem here, right?
It's a very significant problem here, Kevin, and law enforcement and the HHS workers deal with this every day. Last year in Scottsbluff County, there were 907 reports to the hotline, 907 reports of child abuse and neglect. Now, every one of those reports triggers some sort of an investigation. Sometimes law enforcement's not involved if there's no crime suspected, but most of the time they are. And so all of the agencies around here, every single agency, gets tasked with doing these reports. Now, they also track substantiated reports, and it says about 22% of those were substantiated. So that's about a substantiated report about every other day in Scottsbluff County. And the rest of the counties in the Panhandle are not immune to this. You can look at the statistics are available online. All of the counties in the Panhandle have reports of child abuse and neglect.
All right. And this reporting is kind of picked up here. Maybe that's part of the reason why I'm covering more of this, is that the reporting of it is picking up simply because we now have a hotline, we now have a network, we've established some things where it's easier for people to do that, right?
Yeah, this has been a kind of a work in progress, probably over the last 20 years particularly. I've been involved in law enforcement more than 30 years, and it wasn't always like this. We didn't have nearly as many of these as we do now, but I think it was always there. I don't think there's a big spike. I think it was always there, but there's more awareness. The laws have changed to encourage reporting and, in fact, compel reporting. Schools are compelled to report. Medical facilities are compelled to report. And people are protected if they do report.
Yeah. And there's a law that says mandatory reporting. You're supposed to do it.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Monica, many of these reports, am I right, are first of all, they're delayed reports in some cases. Now, probably more so lately, maybe they aren't that delayed, but wasn't it in the past delayed reporting that was maybe making it kind of difficult to do some of these investigations?
Well, and I think when you look at what's happened at Penn State University and you look at the delayed reporting there and you look at the delayed reporting in Syracuse, most of the young men that have came forward there are in their 20s and 30s now. That holds true in Nebraska also. I mean, we've worked several cases in the Panhandle where we've had children that were abused but don't report it until their early 20s. But it happened when they were 8 to 16 years of age. So I don't think delayed reporting is still occurring today. But what we are hoping is that the adults in these young people's worlds, whether it be school teachers, guidance counselors, friends, neighbors, that they're paying attention to what young people are saying. I always tell people when I go talk to adult groups, young people don't lie about sexual issues. And if they're talking about things that they should know about, we need to be reporting that and letting people know that they are talking about this. So with regard to delayed reporting, I think we're always going to see that because, as we were talking earlier, these people that sexually abuse kids, physically abuse kids, are groomers. They do their job well, if you will, to get people to, or get young people to do things that the rest of us wouldn't think about. And they do it in such a way that young people don't realize that it's not right.
Yeah,
It's
the
not
young
what's
kids
supposed to
think
happen.
this is what's supposed to happen. This is the way it is between
An adult and a young
an
person.
adult and a young person, and that's the way they think. They don't know that anything's wrong.
No, and I mean the kids that we've interviewed at the Advocacy Center, we've had several that didn't want the person who had been abusing them, whether it was physical or sexual, to be in trouble, because they still loved them and respected them, and they were still a part of their world.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
There are years of professional service you can
Okay.
trust Intralink's technical
All right.
solutions to get your small or medium business computer
Maybe we
system
should
up
talk
and
about
running.
the
Viruses and
statute that says
virus
you can.
protection cause headaches
We don't
for
have
more
a
small business.
statute of
Let
statute of
Intralink
limitations.
be protected with Trend
Because I think many
Micro's
people
line
think
of
there is a
virus
statute
protection
because
software.
it has been in the news.
It's been in there for
It's
so
been in the
long,
news
but
for a long
that's-
time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For weekly tips and other information, you can friend them on Facebook by visiting intralinks.net/Facebook.
We giving you what you wanted?
All right, we are back once again today. We have Sheriff Mark Overman here and also Lieutenant Monica Bartling. We're talking about seemed like the increased number of child sexual assaults and child assaults, child neglect cases, and it's been reported in some of the cases nationally that that certain states have a statute of limitations and they can't touch certain people because the statute of limitations is run out. Mark, in Nebraska, that's not the case, right?
That is not the case, and it's a very recent change to Nebraska law. When they started realizing this, the legislature started hearing testimony and realizing that there was a lot of delayed reporting. They changed the law first and made it, 6 years after their 16th birthday. But now, not just because of that, but because of the advances in DNA technology and how law enforcement is tracking people and offenders, and we are regularly discovering who the offender is years after an event. The state changed the law, and it's the statute of limitations now is there in the law says not be any time limitations for sexual assault of a child in the second or third degree, sexual assault in the first or second degree under certain sections. So what this has done is that when the evidence comes forward, the perpetrators don't get off because time has passed. And that was the right thing to do, and the legislature did the right thing. But not every legislature has done that. And you've just seen that in one of the high-profile cases in Syracuse. They said, oh, well, even if he did it, we can't do anything to him because the statute of limitations has run. And that was the law in Nebraska, but it isn't anymore.
Okay. We've had several cases since 1999. We've had, 4 abductions. 3 of them have resulted in deaths, but we had one that where we caught the guy up at the Wildcat Hills prior to anything happening. But that situation, of course, it's happened just recently, and you're investigating that. But that's a problem too, isn't it?
Well, it seems for our small population area out here that we've had some horrific child deaths, and almost all of them have involved some sort of sexual assault also prior to their death. All we can do is tell parents to be vigilant and knowing where their children are at all times. With the cases that we had, you can't fault anybody except for the person that committed the crime as to how those instances went down.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, we're running out of time here. What's the number to call if people see something? Should they call the comm center? Is there a specific number to call? What should they do?
Well, there is. Of course, you can always call 911, and that puts you into the comm center. HHS has an 800 number where the CAN report goes into. It is.
Put you
you're
on
gonna
the
tax
spot,
my-
right?
You're gonna tax. See, Mark's doing a good
I'm
thing.
trying.
I'm
He's
trying to
trying
come
to
up with
find
it.
it.
We will.
It's
I'm
an
gonna
800
do.
number. You'll
I'm
have to
gonna be doing a
find it.
story on what everybody said here, so I'll try to get that number for everybody.
We don't
Sorry,
call it.
we always look it up. It's not something we have, on the top of our
okay,
brain.
but probably calling 911 would be the best thing to do if you see something, and that will trigger a response by law enforcement.
Absolutely. And we just want to remind people again, pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to the young people in your world. If they're drawing things, if they're writing things down and it looks odd, you need to report it, because that's how we gain a lot of our information, is through things that kids write, things that they draw, and especially if it's sexual or physical in nature. It's just odd, and we need that to help them out.
Okay. All right, very good. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin.
All right, back to you, Dan.